Hello, Chicago. We are coming to you from Studio C at AM560 The Answer. This is the IRS Radio Hour.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
This show is sponsored by the law office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, and Opem Tax Resolutions.
God bless you, Opem Tax Resolution.
Opem helps people achieve full financial recovery. We help people dealing with IRS problems, audits, levies, liens, garnishments, collections, unfiled tax returns, and payroll tax issues. I told you before, Jimmy, that oftentimes things come in waves in my office. Like I haven't seen anything for a long time.
So are you riding the wave? Hey, man.
The wave,
Cowabunga, man.
The wave recently is IRS payroll tax issues. Ooh. And we'll talk about that. But we also help people with mortgage foreclosures and loan modifications, bankruptcy,
real good stuff,
and other debt-related issues. So if you have any of these problems, or if you want to get your tax return completed by a professional, then you need to call Opem Tax Resolutions at 312-664-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649. Or you can visit them on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. I am your host. I am attorney Stephen Leahy. And I want to introduce our technical producer, Debbie Schreiner.
Hello, Stephen.
How are you today, Debbie?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm just terrific. Thanks for asking. I say that all the time. And I also want to introduce this other kid that's next to me. He's a kid. He is my nephew. Oh, I'm supposed to do co-host first. He's my co-host. He's my nephew. He's my very good friend. It's Jimmy Leahy.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
You're the best around.
That is true. Not only am I the best around, the law office of Stephen A. Leahy and Opem Tax Resolution is the best around to help with issues such as those that were previously stated. I'm not going to name them all because I'm not going to beat a dead horse.
All of the forementioned.
All of the above. But not only do we talk about that, we talk about everything that relates to your life, which is Chicago.
That is true, Jim. Very good. I like that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are going to dive right into the first segment, the News Roundup.
Review and comment on the news.
And this week, we're going to talk about the very big, the very amazing, the very special.
What?
Hillary Clinton.
No. Let's talk
We always do, though.
Before we talk about anything else, I want to talk about the debate because I was at Austin's last night.
You were for Joe Walsh's, right?
For Joe, the 560.
That's heard right here on this station.
On this station. Joe Walsh. He had I think they called it, I'm trying to remember what they called it, but
Freedom Fest?
No, I forget what it was. March to the White House, that's what it was called.
Oh.
And it was at Austin's, and it was really good. It was well attended, a lot of fun. I got there before the debate started, but I didn't get to catch Joe Walsh's. He did a live show from there, and I didn't get to see that. But Joe Walsh was there. A friend of mine was there, David Hochberg. That everybody knows I go on David's show. He's got the Home Sweet Home Chicago show. And so it was good to see David Hochberg. And a lot of 560 The Answer personalities and personnel were there. So it was good to see them all.
Except
you.
Because somebody forgot to mention to me that it was last night.
I didn't think that's for old folks like me, Jim. Actually, it was a lot of fun.
I'm a personnel. I'm part of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to call in 312-664-6649 to the law office of Stephen A. Leahy and tell them how furious you are that I wasn't even told.
Well, we had fun despite the fact that Jimmy wasn't there. We had fun, and I have to say that the debate was actually the best, probably one of the best debates they've had. You didn't see it, though, did you, Joe?
I did watch the whole thing.
Did you?
Yeah, because that's part of my job.
I know.
To comment and be informed.
Review and comment
on the debate.
That's right. And so, I thought it was good. I thought...
you could tell that Trump was holding back. It's a different approach. It's a different thing that he's doing.
No, I think anybody that listens to the show probably has heard me say before that I was a Cruz guy right from the beginning and never been a Trumpeteer.
And everybody knows that I was a Trumpeteer and now I'm a Cruz guy.
Okay,
but now I'm not a Cruz guy.
I'm trying to say, it's kind of like I was watching Ben Carson when he was endorsing Trump today.
Yeah,
it's kind of a big thing. You know who else endorsed Trump today? Phyllis Schlafly. Did you laugh?
I don't know who that is.
Well, she's a.
Stop the presses! Phyllis Schlafly. I'm sorry, I just don't know who that is.
To conservatives in Illinois, she's huge.
I know.
She's she is a. And so that's, to me, her going with Trump is a big deal. Kind of like
Take a look at my Twitter account.
I think Phyllis Schlafly posted something on his Twitter account that she was supporting him.
I have to say that was
just chilling.
I wasn't expecting that, and it was funny. That was good.
That was good.
And I have never looked at his Twitter account. I swear.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why Debbie is the best in the business.
So I never did. But wait, but we wanted to. So now I'm kind of torn because we have we have a couple different big stories that I want to talk about. We want to talk about Hillary losing in Michigan
huge.
I thought that was big.
That's huge. It's huge.
Stop it, Donald. And I also wanted to talk about the differences between the two, because I think this primary season is really highlighting the differences between the Democratic primary and the Republican primary. But I don't want to talk about that either.
What difference at this point does it make?
And it's
actually
just funny
made no
if you
difference.
listen to the Democratic primary, they're like, "Oh, well, we're not as crazy as those Republicans over there."
Yeah, since your primary was decided before it even started, given the super delegates and the way that it works and the way it's set up, they don't even have to have any of these elections. It's all worthless. It's meaningless. Yeah. So to me, that's a big story that I think a lot of people aren't talking about, but we're not going to talk about it either because what we want to talk about a local story, and that was the Ed Burke now banning chewing tobacco.
That just infuriates me at sporting events. Smokeless tobacco, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if anybody knew this, but I used to be a smoker. I quit about 5 months ago. I haven't had one.
You,
I want one every day, but I haven't had one. I'm not going to do it.
Got to quit every day, Jim.
But what I'm trying to say is, I don't mind sitting in a room where people are smoking. I don't mind.
We're not even talking about smoking. We're talking about chewing tobacco.
Yes. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, it doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is when people can stand in there when I don't even know you have any sort of tobacco products at all. And they're going to tell you what you can and can't do. Not only am I paying how much for this ticket to get in here, how much, it's 17% state tax on there. But let's say if I want to buy some memorabilia, I have to pay a tax on that. Every bit of beer I got to pay tax on. Every bit of food I buy, I'm putting a tax down. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, soon they're going to have to charge you to go to the bathrooms. And when it's all said and done, after I pay all these taxes, all the money to go and enjoy myself at a sporting event, you're going to tell me, out of something that doesn't bother the whole crowd, nobody's bothered at all, you're going to tell me I can't sit here and do this.
You know why they're going to tell you that you can't do it, Jim? Because they can.
If we legalized heroin tomorrow, everybody's going to use heroin. How many people here would use heroin if it was legal? I bet nobody would put the hand, oh, yeah, I need the government to take care of me. I don't want to use heroin, so I need these laws.
That is a tribute to my kids because they always talk about that clip. Yeah, Dad, we don't need these laws. Stop it, drug use.
It's just ridiculous, guys.
I agree,
it's just ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are the ones voting these people in.
It's also
you are the ones that accept this.
It's also e-cigarettes. It's like, cigarettes are illegal.
You can't smoke them in a bar now.
This isn't really a cigarette. Well, but
it's water vapor.
It's called a cigarette.
I sat with, real quick because we're running out of time. I sat with a buddy. Story here. I was sitting with a buddy, and he's long story short, he looks over to the bartender. He goes, "Are you going to let this guy smoke that thing in here?" And I look at him and I went, "Shut up, man. Well, I don't like it. It's water vapor. It smells like fruit."
I know.
What do you not like about that?
I tell you what I don't like. It's got the name cigarette in it, and I don't like it.
Because he likes it.
That's why we don't like candy cigarettes.
I don't like it. You can't like it.
So anyway.
And if the IRS does not like you.
That's right. Very good, Jim. Then you need to call Opem Tax Resolutions. They help people when the IRS doesn't like them, and it protects you from the IRS. So call them at 312-664-6649. That number again is 312-664-6649.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because after the break, we will be coming at you with more IRS Radio Hour on AM560
The Answer.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion on the IRS Radio Hour on AM560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
Welcome back. We are back from the break, and we are here on the IRS Radio Hour, and I am your host. I am attorney Stephen Leahy on AM560 The Answer.
It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
Remember last week we were talking about not having the right music for this.
We
segment.
have an intro for every segment.
So we're going to get it. We tried. That one's good. I like that one.
I liked it. Debbie, there's just everybody take. Debbie, stand up and take a bow.
Woo!
It's like
Woo!
who did that? Who did that? That was Joe Biden with the guy in the wheelchair. Stand up and take a bow.
Oh, the guy had it. Yeah,
come on. It's like, Joe.
Oh my! How about we all stand up and give him a
Joe, come on, man.
Do me a favor though, Debbie. Can you play that clip of Jim singing the Rebecca Black song?
Oh my Lord. Do we have that?
Yeah.
Party and yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
I just am gonna like. It's like an
not
ambush.
trying to embarrass
it's like
you or
an
anything,
ambush,
Jim.
you know. It's like everything is recorded that we do on here. I'm gonna just sit with the shortstop held down the whole time, so I'll never get caught off guard again.
I understand, but this blog, because it is the blog segment that you did so well, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
And this week I'm going to talk about a big story I saw on Forbes, and it was that $1 billion, $1 billion is the IRS is holding for tax refunds, but not 2015 refunds.
Oh, so that's what we're talking about?
We're talking about 2012 refunds. That's and why I wanted to talk about that. And I've talked about this on the show before about if you don't file your tax returns. I was on another show, and someone had called in and asked about it, and David Hochberg was like, you got to file your tax returns. And I was telling him, the IRS doesn't care if you file your tax returns if they owe you money. Right? If they owe you money, they'd rather you didn't file your tax return. Now, John Koskinen came out last week and said, "Oh no, we want you to file your tax returns if we owe you money, especially
get your billion back,
especially students, because we want students to have their money back." How about everybody?
We follow the law.
That's right. And how about everybody? John Koskinen. What was he? I forgot what was the we awarded. He had some.
Oh yeah, he won an award,
and then he got the bad award and then the good award.
No, I don't know. It's an award. It's a prestigious award.
Oh, that's what we said. To Fragile, the Italian outfit. Yeah. They gave him an award. I think it was whatever it was. But anyway,
the leg lamp.
What happens was. So what happens was. Right, if you don't file your tax returns, well, guess what? They won't send you your refund, right? And
so wait, what do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean?
They won't. I mean, I thought that.
If they're taking money out of my check every week and I have a refund due because they've taken more money than I owe, and they're supposed to give me a refund. Well, they don't know I'm going to get a refund unless I file my tax return. And then I file my tax return, and it tells them, okay, well, this is how much we owe them. Let's send them back this refund, and they give you the money back. If you don't file your return, well, then they won't send you the money. And if you don't file your returns for 3 years later, they take your money and they'll never get it back to you. Now, if you don't file your tax returns and you owe money, well, they can go back. They can go after you for 10 years for you to pay them. But if they owe you money, you can only go back 3 years. So that's why
I think we should change that law.
Well, it's not going to change anytime soon. And that's why it's important that they have over $1 billion now waiting for 2012 refunds. If you don't file your 2012 return before April 18th, 2016, then you will lose that refund. And someone said, well, can I use it and apply it to some other taxes that I owe? And the answer is no, it's gone forever.
What, do you think this is a credit system?
It's gone.
I have a coupon.
And so sometimes people owe student loans or child support payments, and they take their refunds to pay those debts off. But if I don't file my tax returns, they don't use the money to pay those debts. And so instead of using that money to pay some debts or not get it, or even IRS. So if I owe the IRS money, right, they'll keep my refund. But if I don't file my tax return, well, then they won't use that money to to offset what I owe. So now I'm going to pay them twice or 3 times. It doesn't make any sense to let the IRS keep your tax refund. Now, why does this happen? Because they make it really hard to, cumbersome to get your tax refund because you have to fill out your tax return.
The IRS would like to apologize for that.
I'd like to apologize. Sorry, we kept your $1 billion. I like this.
Wait, I have $1 billion?
This IRS collectively, Jim, collectively. In this article where this young lady talks about it, how much is $1 billion? She says, I know we throw around these illions anymore, millions, billions, trillions, like they're nothing, but it's a lot of money. How much? If the Internal Revenue Service gave away $1 an hour, it would take more than 114,155 years to get rid of $1 billion. So arbitrary, but it does kind of demonstrate it's a lot of money. $1 billion is a lot of money. I know we talk about. I was on the train this week, and I have a conductor who has sometimes he has a tax problem, and he said, I got a letter from the IRS, and they told me it was 45 days. They need another 45 days because they're really busy. And they can't really go after my. And I asked them, I know that they're claiming that they don't have enough money. How much? Like I do on this show a lot. How much money do you think that the budget of the IRS is? I said, $500 million. Nah, I know. $1 billion. $10 billion. You're thinking? No, it's $13 billion. It's a lot of money. That
my God. I know you said it on the show. I always forget. I always think it's $1 billion. I'm like, well, that's a lot.
$13 billion. And they tell us it's not enough money. And that's why, and I like this because I'm doing something for a client, and the IRS promises to have it done in 30 days. And that's their policy. So I sent it in more than 30 days ago. I got a letter yesterday saying, it's going to take another 90 days. So, wait a minute. You're supposed to have it done in 30 days, your promise. Well, it's really busy. It is tax season. Like everybody in the IRS is forgoing everything else, and they're all worried about tax returns. That's not the way it works. With $13 billion, you can have different departments that concentrate on one thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
But they always use it is tax season.
They just so what do you think that there's just one woman in the IRS named Carol? I'll get you in a minute.
I can't help you this week because I've got 300 million tax returns.
Oh, that's Carol. She's pretty bombarded at the moment.
So let's put it off. Send out the letters that say it'll be another.
Hey, let's go make a video.
So anyway,
who wants to go do that? Remember that when they made those videos?
Yeah, I do remember.
Space, the final frontier.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that they have the money for that, but they don't have the money to answer the phone. They don't have the money to address these things that they promised in 30 days, and now it's going to be. And my client said, because this was for trying to get their past tax records withdrawn from their credit score. Remember, we talked about this on the show before about that part of the IRS Fresh Start program is that they allow you now, once you pay them, you can get it withdrawn from your tax, from your credit report, and it makes your credit score go up higher. So maybe you can get a loan that you wouldn't otherwise get, and that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to borrow money. So she can refinance her house and lower she's got like a 7% mortgage rate. If she can go down to 4%, she could save a lot of money a month. But all we have to do is get it off of her credit score, and then her credit report, and her credit score will go up, and she'll be able to qualify for the loan. But the mortgage broker can't wait around for 120 days, for keep this offer open. So now we got to start all over again with that after we get, so again, it causes a lot of friction, and it's only because the IRS says that they don't have the time. But I think it's a lie.
What happens when there's a lot of friction? You need to change brake pads.
That's good. That is true. I'm not much of a mechanic, Jim, but that you probably know that from experience.
I could change the oil, change the brakes. And also drive the car into the ground.
But don't you ever change? Because
no.
I like you
don't
just
go changing.
I understand. So anyway, if you have unfiled tax returns, especially if you haven't filed in 2012 and you have a refund due, file it before April 18th. It's important. You won't get the money back if you don't do it. So if you need help, if you have unfiled tax returns, if you owe the IRS money, if the IRS is coming after you, if you need a tax preparer, call me. Call Opem Tax Resolutions at 312-664 312-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649.
Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because after the commercial break, we'll be right back at you.
Wow.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy on AM560 The Answer. Attorney Stephen Leahy brings his passion and expertise to your radio each and every week during the IRS Radio Hour. Tune in, take notes, and be educated. Learn your options resolving financial obstacles that face so many. And now, back to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
The IRS Radio Hour has returned, and I am your host. I am attorney Stephen Leahy. And again, we are on AM560, The Answer. I'm here with my co-host.
Hey.
My nephew. I can say hey again.
Hey.
And my very good friend.
Sein van
Gunderson. I love that. Jimmy Leahy.
Hi. Let's go right into the next segment. And this week's segment of As the IRS Turns, Koskinen.
Wherever we can, we follow the law.
Barry Sotero.
Not even mass corruption, not even a smidgen of corruption.
And that ever-favorite Lois Lerner is herself.
Thank you. I'm not good at math.
For another week of As the IRS Turns. I'm Gaga for the saga.
I like that.
I'm taking this all in right now. And if you were watching the video, it's just I'm finding I don't vibrate at that frequency, so trying to find my inner vibration. Joe Madden.
That's right.
Remember? They were asking a question. He's like, hey, man, I don't vibrate that frequency. He's like, whoa, what?
Who
Joe?
says that? I never heard that before. That's good.
I love it.
No, I mean, I've heard it. But before Joe said it, I didn't hear that. I have learned, talking to you, though, Jim, I have learned many things that I did not know existed, like Cream. I did not know that song.
Cash rules everything around me.
I did not know that song, and I was okay with that without knowing the song. But anyway, this is the saga, and we talk about the IRS. But we're going to talk about something in addition to the IRS.
It coincides with this segment, and what we're going to talk about is the Department of Justice is going to go after climate deniers, which kind of
goes after people they disagree with.
Like
they're going
the
to use
IRS goes after political affiliations.
I agree. And so if you disagree with them, they're going to use the power of the federal government to shut you up and not allow you to talk. So if you are they're comparing it to tobacco companies. You know, the tobacco companies said that it didn't cause cancer. They were denying it. And, of course, it was the Clinton administration and their Justice Department that went after the tobacco companies and sued them and won this huge. So they're liking it to that. If we could do that, if we could shut down these tobacco companies for lying and denying the fact that it causes cancer, why can't we go after oil companies and coal companies who are denying that it's having effect on the environment? Well, there's a couple obvious reasons why that should be. But What do you think, Jim?
Well, I mean, here's the reason why is because if you take a look at it, the new energy, all this new energy ends up expending more energy than it creates.
I love that. I agree with you.
Yeah. We're going to be energy efficient, but yet we're going to expend more to create all this stuff.
I always tell the people with the electric car, you can tell.
You want to know what this all is, ladies and gentlemen? I don't have to tell you what this is. And this is just going to be, it's all a political move because every politician who stands behind this, they know somebody who is in the market for this new age technology, and they want it to succeed. So they're going to cut out the competition.
Okay, so this is what Loretta,
and that's what this is. They're cutting it out.
This is what Loretta Lynch said. The similarities between the mischief of the tobacco industry, pretending that the science of tobacco.
You want to know why they went after the tobacco too? It's not because of you.
Dangers were unsettled, and the fossil fuel industry.
They don't care about you. They wanted to because they couldn't get the money from them, so they shut them out.
Okay.
Cash rules everything around me.
Man, you just keep bringing that in, don't you? That you're kind of ranting today.
Wu-Tang Clan, man. Wu-Tang, let's go.
So anyway, that's what they're doing. And she said,
it's the whitest thing I've ever said.
Was unsettled. And the fossil fuel industry, pretending that the science of carbon emissions dangers is unsettled, has been remarked on widely, particularly by those who study the climate denial apparatus that the fossil fuel industry has erected. Oh, I love what I wanted to mention, though, about electric cars. Right? Whenever you see somebody with an electric car, tell them it's a coal car. And I'll say, what do you mean a coal car? This is a clean car. Well, what do you think electric comes from in Illinois? We burn coal to make electricity.
Yeah, so we're using more coal to provide your car.
That's right.
That is stupid. The car is stupid.
So instead of using gasoline,
it looks stupid and you look stupid.
So instead of using gasoline, which is less environmentally dangerous.
Oh no, wait, guys, don't worry. The summer blend is coming. Disgusts me.
I agree. The price of gas is almost hitting $2 a gallon. I don't know what I'm going to do, Jim.
And if you don't know what you're going to do if the IRS comes after you, ladies and gentlemen, after this whole segment
is a little early.
Said and done, you need to call this man right next to me.
That's right. So I help people fight the IRS. That's what we do.
And that's why we have this segment, to keep you informed of what the IRS is doing
and what the government is doing against you individually. Because it's not only the IRS, it's the whole government apparatus that comes after people.
The big G.
And whenever the government's coming after you, you need help, including IRS. Then you need help. You need to call a professional. Call Opem Tax Resolutions at 312-664-6649 or visit them on the web at ChicagoTaxTeam.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned on AM560 The Answer.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion on the IRS Radio Hour on AM560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
We're back from the break, and this is the IRS Radio Hour on AM560 The Answer. And I am your host. I am attorney Stephen Leahy.
And I am your co-host.
You are. What's your name?
Co-host Jim Leahy.
Jim.
And now, here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right, Mr. Know-It-All, the segment where attorney Leahy will answer the tough questions that boggle the mind.
What is the tough question today that will boggle the mind?
What is the meaning of life?
That is a very good question, Jim.
No, we're not going to answer that question. Ask that question.
I can go on, but I think it takes more than 5 minutes and 56 seconds.
I could answer it. It's only one word, baseball.
Very good answer.
That is the answer.
Very good answer.
I do have a question for you. Now, this kind of coincides with the news and people who have investments out there within these companies that are starting to go under. How come they're filing Chapter 11? I thought Chapter 13 was bankruptcy. I thought that was the big thing. Why Chapter 11? Why didn't they choose 13?
Well, that's a very good question, Jim, and I'm going to answer it for you. If you think of the bankruptcy code as a book, and like every other book, it's divided into chapters, and that's why you hear so much about Chapter 11.
Enough scientific stuff. Can you speak English, please?
Chapter 13, Chapter 7. Each individual chapter has a different remedy for a different situation. So generally, Chapter 13 is not available to big companies. They can't file a Chapter 13. Generally, Chapter 13 is what they call a wage earner bankruptcy. So it's for individuals who are making money. The title of Chapter 13 is Adjustment of Debt for Individuals with Regular Income. The title of Chapter 11
Indigata Vita
is reorganization. And that's Chapter 11 is used from reorganization of large companies. And it's a lot like a Chapter 13 in that you are adjusting your debt in order to stay afloat and stay profitable. Remember when the government came in and they did a GM Chapter 11, they changed all the rules for that one. And you said, well, should investors worry? Yes, investors should worry, because if you have money in this, first off, if I have stock, I don't get any of that money. The stock isn't worth very much now because they're bankrupt. They're not making any money. And
I was just given 1 million shares.
That's right.
What should I do?
It's worth $1.50. Okay, so also if I have bought bonds from these companies, and a lot of these companies sell bonds, or or if I have, these are secured debts. And what happens under a Chapter 11 is they have to pay you the value of those secured claims, but not necessarily everything that they owe you. A lot of Chapter 11s, though, now there's another one. There's Chapter 9. Chapter 9 are municipalities filing bankruptcy. See, that's it. And Chapter 12 is for
municipalities.
Like Detroit. Okay,
Detroit?
Yes. And there's 3 or 4 in California cities, municipalities who have filed for protection under bankruptcy laws. Chapter 12 is for farmers and fishermen. So they have their own, because they have unique characteristics of the way they do business. So they had to change.
They have their own website for dating.
Who doesn't?
FarmersOnly.com.
I did not know that.
How do you not know that? You watch the NHL playoffs. They're on every commercial for the NHL playoffs. Don't give me that.
I never saw it.
Okay, continue.
Okay, remember now, in today's world, they can send you different commercials based on where you live.
Yeah, that's why it's funny, because we're a Chicago market. Why are you sending farmers only?
I'm not talking about in Chicago. I'm talking about individuals now, right? So I had a.
Why are they sending? Again, why are they sending me farmersonly.com?
I don't know, Jim. I don't know. Maybe you spend a lot of time on. Maybe you spend a lot of time on farmanimals.com. I don't know, but anyway. So I digress. So anyway, the different. What happens is a lot of times when these companies file Chapter 11. They don't make it through Chapter 11. They can't do it. And a very large percentage of them will eventually file Chapter 7, and Chapter 7 is liquidation. And that's when the business gets liquidated and they sell all the assets and they pay people or don't pay because there's usually not any money to pay any unsecured creditors. So then everybody gets...
Well, I think we all know what kind of company we're talking. I'm not going to say it, but I'm waiting for the liquidation phase because I'm really waiting to get some cheap stuff from there, if you know what I'm saying.
I understand. And, I don't know if is that a function you think of online shopping?
Yes.
Everybody's shopping online?
100%. In fact, I don't understand how a company can get $1 billion in debt. That's what this company is. That's why they're going under.
You have a lot of inventory.
Still, how do you keep getting loans?
Think about,
you would think that banks are everything's going online. Mm-hmm. Why would you go give a retail store? Why would you give any retail store any loans?
Because they've been successful for such a long time. They have been
success
successful.
Is drying up, and you're seeing that more and more.
And that's it's kind of interesting to me because we know just over the Illinois border in Kenosha, Amazon has built their big warehouse. And if you call to get if you get online and you call and you buy something, it will be delivered the next day, even on a Sunday. They come knocking on my door. I got this package for you, And the United States Postal Service. I don't know if you saw this. The United States Postal Service had one of their first ever, or first in a long time, profitable quarters. They made money for once.
Wow!
Because Amazon is using them and they're delivering things on Saturday and Sunday. Now that was just for the holiday. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Well, if you are having, if the IRS is having a holiday with you, you know who to call. This man right here, Stephen Leahy, 312-664-6649, or visit him in ChicagoTaxTeam.com. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because the next segment is going to be the wrap-up segment, and it's going to be a doozy. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned on AM560 The Answer.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy on AM560 The Answer. Attorney Stephen Leahy brings his passion and expertise to your radio each and every week during the IRS Radio Hour. Tune in, take notes, and be educated. Learn your options resolving financial obstacles that face so many. And now, back to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the IRS Radio Hour, and I am the co-host. I am Jim Leahy, coming back at you from a wonderful commercial break, and this is our host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
I am the host. I am attorney Stephen Leahy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you all for staying tuned or tuning into this wonderful program yet again. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock, we'll be coming right at you. And here on this station. But before we go, I would like to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Cubs in spring training.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about that, Jim.
I don't know if I should be concerned. They're 1-8.
You should.
It doesn't really matter.
You should not be concerned.
From what I have seen, is that they got some pop on the ball, so it doesn't really pop. Yeah.
That's good.
So I don't necessarily know if that's going to be a factor within the regular season or not, but we're going to have to stay tuned because, I mean, if you take a look at Lester, he got smoked yesterday. He really did. And we record Friday and the show airs Sunday, so I'm talking Thursday. He pitched and he got demolished in 2 innings, gave up, 8 runs?
I think it was 6 runs, but only 3 earned. And
only 3 earned?
That's right.
They have a lot of guys that are kind of filling. They're not putting together their full squad. Not the full squad hasn't played. So we're going to have to see how that all plays in. Plus the pitchers that they put.
Sure as God made green apples, someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
Let's hope so,
Harry.
Harry.
Maybe sooner than we think.
Let's hope so, Harry.
I hope that Harry's something.
He said that in 1992.
Did you see there was a picture I shared this week.
I'm not on Facebook.
And it looked like Fred Flintstone's. And it said this was the car that they rode in the last Cubs
yeah
victory parade. So I thought that was funny. I can make fun of them.
I can too.
I can laugh about it.
I can too.
And I can cry about it. And I often do.
It's my party. I can cry if I want to.
That's true. And
St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
Oh, we wanted to talk about St. There's so much I missed on the show today because I had stuff in the IRS saga that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, just mention it right now.
I wanted to talk about how much the IRS is bringing in because they're still bringing in record amounts of money. And
still?
Yes, and because it's been doing that for about a year now. Every month is a new record that they're bringing record amounts of money in. And they keep telling us how they need a bigger budget so they can bring in more money because we're really costing us money. I hate that argument, but I wanted to talk about that and we didn't. So
that's okay. And what's the next thing you wanted to mention? Just mention it. Like we could always come back and talk to it next show because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a special feature next week.
We are.
Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. We always do a little theme for each holiday.
That's true. And it is, but it's after. Actually, the show will air after St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
But tomorrow is the
parade.
The parade.
And
both of them,
ladies and gentlemen, we're starting a GoFundMe page. It'll be called Jim Leahy Fund, and it'll be to get me out of jail.
We'll start it on Sunday because he'll go to jail.
We'll start it Saturday night.
Unless you go to unless you make it to Sunday, then you go down to the South Side Parade, and they'll really put you in prison down there.
Yeah.
They don't like you down there.
No.
Northsider coming out here getting drunk and causing trouble.
Who do you think you are with that hat on? With that thick accent? I tell you, this is real Chicago.
That's them. So anyway, join us next week. We love to have you. We appreciate you listening. Isn't that right, Jim?
Ladies and gentlemen,
remember, if you're having an IRS problem and you need help, and of course, if you are having an IRS problem, you do need help. So call 312-664-6649. That's our sponsor, Opem Tax Resolutions.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for staying tuned. Remember, next Sunday at 5, the IRS Radio Hour will be coming right back at you on this station. So, ladies and gentlemen, same bat time, same bat channel. Have a good week.
Go Cubs.